Yo, 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 yo. It's another episode
Yeah.
of the Weekend Rhyme. It's your boy, RKY. That's Leroy Green. Shout out to everybody in the building. I know it's a Saturday night. You're probably watching March Madness basketball. Shout out to all the hoopers out there uh, in college, in the pros doing their thing. We got a good show for you
Sure.
tonight. What's up, Leroy? How you been, man? What's good, brother?
I've been great, man. I've been great. I've been checking out new music. Now, for the most part, I've been checking out this new Will Smith album. I don't know how people feel about that out there, but you know, I I feel good about it, man. It was a good feeling, and you put me up on some new music too by a couple of new artists. So I was checking out them too, and I like it. I'm impressed. I'm not gonna lie. It's not every day that I hear some new music from new artists, and I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? So that happened to me. So good job, man. Good job. I appreciate
Yo,
that.
yo, Alan Hicks. We didn't put deep thoughts in quotation marks on purpose. I thought that's the name of the album. So we put that's the name of the album, right? So we wanted to make sure we quoted it right. You know what I mean? That's why we did it. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? Hold on. It's the name
yeah.
of the album, right? I want to make sure I'm not tripping.
I want to make sure too, because I had to get up this morning
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and kind
Deep Thoughts. Deep Thoughts is the name of the record.
of
So that's why we had to cite it properly. You know what I'm saying?
you're right.
It was no
You're right.
no ill intent on that. You know what I'm saying? We like Dirk. You know what I'm saying? I like Dirk. Dirk has one of the has had a great career. I mean, coming out of the drill rap scene in Chicago, Dirk has become a superstar. If you listen to
Mhm.
Dirk, Dirk can actually rap. I mean, he's got substance to his rhymes. He transcended. He kind of grew in hip hop, came from that drill rap scene, became a star, worked with everybody from Little Baby to Drake to everybody. You know what I'm saying? To Metro, to Future is on this new album. And, he kind of crossed over. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the drill rappers don't cross over. Dirk was able
Right.
to do that, right? He picked off, if you listen to King Von, you know what I'm saying? We're not talking about King Von's street reputation. We talk about King Von as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? The way he approached the rhymes as a storyteller. He had
Mhm.
talent. You know what I'm saying? So Dirk kind of put King Von on and kind of took where Von left off and kind of catapulted to the next level. So you want to go back to 2019 to 2020, Dirk's one of the hottest rappers in the game, and he's talented. I mean, whether you like the drill scene or you don't like, you can't deny that the man has talent. He can put words together. He can actually rhyme. I heard somebody even compare him to like Jay-Z like a couple years ago. I saw an article like on Hip Hop DX. It was like this is kind of like a Jay-Z type
I don't know.
flow. I
I don't
heard
know
it. I
about.
was on. You got to pull it up. Google
I
it,
don't know
Leroy.
about that.
Somebody compared Dirk's approach to one rap. I don't know the name of the record. I got to go back and I got to go back and look at the name of the record they were referencing.
Yeah,
But they
I
said
don't
he
know
had a
about that.
Hovian flow on the record. He
I
had a
mean,
Hovian.
I'm not mad at Lil Durk. You know what I mean? Now, I don't think it's for me, and that's not. I don't know of a nice way to say it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the best way. I don't think it's whack, but I don't think it's for me. But we're gonna get into some emotions. You know what I mean? That's the underline of the music I've been hearing since yesterday, is rappers in their emotions. So everybody, let's get in your emotion bag. You know what I mean? And see where it
Right.
goes.
Right. So I did hear the album. You know what I'm saying? I did hear the album, and it was again, and I won't even say it's not for me. Right. I won't even say that because before it might not have been for me. But I think as Dirk is, grown, I think he's got some substance. I mean, he's got a lot of substance, right? This album is a little personal. I think he kind of
But yeah,
he
yeah,
found he
it's
found
fair.
Islam. He found Islam, and I like him as a rapper. I think Dirk is has grown on me as a rapper over the last, I want to say the last few years since the last record. Another record he put out with Cole. I know it was a record he had on he did with Drake about 4 or 5 years ago. Um, Ever since then, I mean, I like what Dirk's been doing. I like how he's been moving, and I think he's talented. I think he's slept on. I think people look at him as this drill rapper, but they don't. I think maybe in the mainstream, maybe people in the older generation, I think they're starting to recognize that there's some talent that Dirk has. You know what I mean?
Well, he has a song. What is it? What is it? What is it? They want to be you. They want to be you, right? So in that song, it sounds like what it says, like they want to be you. So they see you doing something fly out there. The youth, they want to be you. But it features Future though. So my question is, does Little Dirk want to be like Future? That's just a question I'm asking. I'm not trying to clown because I don't know. Like I said, if I ask a question, it's because I really don't know. It's not because I'm trying to clown. You know what I'm saying? But just from the little bit that I have heard, is he trying to sound like Future or am I tripping? You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't think so. I think he's got his own style. I think Future, lended his talents at one record on the album, but I think that's I think Dirk has his own. I think when I hear Dirk, I hear again. I'm not saying I think because Dirk was hotter before Vaughn, but I hear him picking up where
Yeah, he
Vaughn
been
left
out for.
off. Because Vaughn was gifted. I mean, to somebody in the chat, I think my man in the chat says Vaughn was gifted. Vaughn was a great storyteller, and I hear Dirk picking off on some of those storytelling elements that Vaughn had, and I think he's dope, man. I
I
hopefully,
mean,
I think he can, has a future if he can get out of his legal situation. But I think Dirk is dope.
well, you know what I mean? You said you like the way he move. I can't say the way he's moving is really the best way to move. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no,
But it's like,
I'm
you know,
talking about, I'm talking about musically. I'm not talking about, what, how
all right, correct me.
allegedly,
Yeah,
allegedly how he's been moving. I don't know nothing
right.
about that
Yeah, I don't
situation.
know either. I honestly don't know. You know, I, I just pulled up the album and I listened to what I heard. The content, yes, I think that he has content. Like if we want to talk about like a multi-layered of emotions there, I can appreciate that because those dealing with emotions could be hard to deal with, and that's what I kind of want to get with today, only because that's what I hear in a lot of the music. And I think that's a conversation that should be had, you know what I mean? But it's like delivery is a thing too, though. So if your delivery sounds similar to another person's delivery, little baby, little dirt, you know what I'm saying? Then you know, it's kind of difficult for me to find you in that. You know what I mean? Now I know he's there, but I'm just saying, like, what is your signature? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to hear. That's all.
Right, right, right. So the album, it starts off with "Shaking When I Pray." I like that. Talks about his conversion or his adoption of the Islamic faith. Um,
Okay.
"Keep on Sipping" was dope. The record you're referencing, they want to be you, featuring
Yeah.
Future. And Future
Right.
didn't approach that. It wasn't really like a standard typical Future record, right? It was more subdued. It was Future's melodic bag, you know what I'm saying? It was more straightforward bag. It wasn't party, you know what I'm saying? It was
Right.
more introspective, you know what I'm saying? Soul
Yeah.
Bleed
Like,
was dope. Soul Bleed was dope 1,000 times featuring Little Baby. The record Can't Hide It with Janae Aiko. What else was good? Late Checkout, Huncho was dope. And yeah, I thought the album was good, man. I thought the album was good.
I
I
got
was
about
impressed
half.
with it. I was shockingly surprised how much I liked the album. I would just say that.
You know, at first when I heard it, you know, I kind of just tuned out, but that was just because it was like super late last night. So I was also kind of tired too. So I got up this morning and I listened again, and then I processed it a little bit better. You know, now I didn't get through the whole album, but I got through a little more than half of it. And like I said, you know, like the content, I can't be mad at what he's saying because I could see, you know, those feelings, those situations, those you know, different ways of thinking. I can see all that, you know what I mean? But, you know, my thing is I listened to 2 albums back to back. I listened to the Will Smith album and I listened to the Little Durk album. These 2 albums are on the opposite end of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? So my mind is having to go in both of these directions. You know, so my question is like, just for the youth culture, right? You have Will Smith. He is 56 years old. We're not going to call him the youth, right? I don't know how old Little Dirk is, but I can assume that he speaks to the youth. I think I'm right there.
I think he's like
Um,
30, 31. You know what I'm saying? Something
okay,
like.
okay, so yeah, yeah, that's young in this era. Whether people want to admit that or not, if you look at the hot rappers right now, they're in their late 30s, early 40s. So if you're 31, you are a young rapper in this era. So I think he speaks to the young people. Now, you know, so I watched some interviews and stuff like that, and I'm seeing 2 different artists process their pain in 2 different ways. And that's what I kind of want to address is if you are, I don't know how many people got children out there or hang with young people, do you introduce Will Smith's music to them or do you introduce Little Dirk's music to them? What is the music we should be introducing to this generation? You know what I mean? And telling them to follow.
Well, that's a great question. I mean, well, as much as you
No
try,
judgment.
as much as you can try to introduce your children to music, they're gonna find their own musical paths. Like you gotta remember when we were kids, when we were youth, our parents, we would listen, we would ride in the car with our parents, as they made dinner in the kitchen, listen to music, or play it in the living room and on Sundays. But we kind of discovered music on our own. Like, I remember, discovering NWA. I remember discovering, my uncles putting me on the
Right.
boss and putting me on the Too Short. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have been listening to Too Short as a kid, or putting me on Big Daddy Kane and Eric B and Rakim. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit different. But if we were to put kids on the music, you got to ease them to the music, right? Because if you try to guide them to listen to what you want to listen to, they're not gonna kind of get with it, right? But I do see a change with Dirk. I know when Dirk lost his brother D Thing a couple years ago.
You
um
didn't answer the question, but I hear
no,
you though.
ask me the question again. Let me cook real quick. I remember when he lost his brother D Thing. I know when Vaughn died, he made a conscious effort that he said he wasn't going to diss his ops and records anymore, right? He wasn't going
Uh,
to do that because he saw what happened. I mean, we know a lot of people, Coolio down in Jacksonville, right? Going to the grave site and pissing on the grave and taking a video of his ops graves. Or you got FBG Juck, dead homies, and you got what happened in what allegedly what happened with Mo3 on records and
right.
Yellow Beezy on records. You know what I'm saying? These records, when people dissing back people back and forth, they lead to untimely
They escalate.
demises. It escalates, right? So there's a question that I had, right? Does the record label or the social media, because during this beefs, right, the people are like tweeting and putting IG posts, and it's just fueling these beefs, right? So is it YouTube's responsibility? Like, how do we stop this beef from proliferating? But I don't want to get into that because I know he has a pending case. But I did see a change in Dirk's music. You know what I'm saying? As he became more popular and ingrained in the mainstream. Now he's still talking about that street element. He's still talking about Chicago and still talking about that pain that you articulate. But I think it moved away from the direct subliminal disses where he's naming like, "Yo, we done did this and we went on this block and
Right.
this block." I think it kind of morphed into something to talk about it from a totality, as a reflection of the youth. But ask your question again because I kind of forgot your question because I was cooking up. Get my phone.
No, no, no.
Get my
I
phone.
mean, no, I get what you're saying. You kind of just said, the children are
Hold on.
going to
Hold on.
choose what
Doing
they choose. And that is kind of correct. Like once, kids leave your surroundings or leave your house or away from you, they're going to listen to what they want to listen to because you ain't even standing there. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, if you are standing there right at this point in the game, you got Will Smith and you got Little Dirk this weekend, right? So what do you suggest that the youth should listen to and follow? You know what I mean? As a model of how to be, how to function.
if
You
I
know?
can give the youth one artist to listen to, and I don't want to be the moral police because I like, you know what I'm saying. I like some of that rap. You know what I'm saying? I like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
that's fine. Yeah,
I like the rap that people deem negative and problematic for our youth. You know what I'm saying? I like
it's
some
all
of
good.
that. And I don't want to be a hypocrite, but if I was going to say, man, if I was going to give my son a rapper to listen to, I would honestly say listen to J. Cole.
Yeah, but you didn't. I'm gonna answer my question because I like that.
Ask me one more time. Give me one. Ask me in a different way. Ask me one more time.
And yeah, I'm not. It's not that I'm mad at your answer. I'm not mad at it. But I'm just, if you had to pick between Will Smith and Little Durk to advise your young to listen to and to follow, who is it gonna be? This is
Well,
a
okay. I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna answer your question directly. I wouldn't advise my youth to follow neither Will Smith nor Dirk. I wouldn't advise them to do neither.
okay. All
But
right, got you.
I would say, I would have them listen to both. That's my answer. I would have them listen to both because you get the realities, the two different realities, right? But before we talk about Will Smith, go ahead and you can answer the question, your own question. But I wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I would
Well,
answer it.
well, we have a rapper that, like I said, he's in his 50s, right? And he's still rapping in 2025. I would be more likely to introduce Will Smith because it's a more thought out um experience lyrically, because you're having a 50-plus-year-old man speaking to you. So this is going to give you a more there's more to work with there, in my opinion. And that's again, that's not even a shot to Dirk, right? But Dirk, like you said, he's like 31. So you got a guy that's 31, you got a guy that's 56. Now, if people say, okay, well, I don't like Will Smith because he's 56, that's cool. You know what I mean? You don't have to like that, right? But if I had to pick, I would pick Will Smith for a number of reasons. You know what I mean? Because that both of these albums are dealing with, how do I respond to the feelings of not being loved, and also outside pressures. So what is my going to be my response to that? So you got an answer from Will Smith and you got an answer for Little Dirt. You know what I mean? If I had to advise children, I would probably say follow the Will Smith path. You know what I mean? Now
Uh,
there's more to that. I'm just starting at the surface there, you know?
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting, and let's talk about Will Smith's album, right? I had a
Mhm.
chance to kind of reflect on it and listen to it over the weekend, and I liked it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's one of those records that you can say falls into the category of adult contemporary rap, right? He is 56 years old. He's kind
Mhm.
of rapping the same way he's always rapped since he came in the scene in the 80s, right? Since parents
Mhm.
just don't understand. I think it's he hadn't put out an album in 20 years, but I think it's a continuation of what he's always done, right? I
Right.
like the first record, the barbershop record. I think he's talking about some of the things that people have been saying about him over the years in the media,
Mhm.
especially in the advent of social media. Certain topics he didn't. I was surprised he didn't. He mentioned a lot of topics like
Right.
his parenting, Jada, the Oscar slap, but he left out a
Right.
couple other things that people have been talking about. But that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? He didn't mention that. I thought
I mean, speak on it.
I found
Yes.
that I found that quite interesting. But hey,
Okay.
for he's
All
an
right.
artist, but I'm not saying that throw no cast no aspersions, but y'all go listen to
Right.
the record. He addressed a lot of the things that were being said, but a
Uh,
couple of the main things that were being said, he didn't
I caught it.
he didn't approach those at all.
Right.
I thought that was
Got you.
interesting. Now it could be two different things. He could think those things that were being said are just patently absurd, or they could have some truth to them. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't know.
Um, the record was kind of self-reflective, as you said. It was a lot of talking about interpersonal responsibility, about him as a man and the challenges he's faced in his marriage as a father, in this industry. He has a lot of positive records. I think he had a record called um,
Yeah, the whole album is pretty
"You
much
Looking for Me"
positive.
was dope. "You Looking for Me" was dope. I like the
Yeah,
song with "Work of Art" with Jaden. Then
that was fire.
he has these like interludes called like the Reverend, and he has like three interludes. I like Beautiful Scars with Big Sean. I thought that was a dope record. Um,
Right.
uh, First Love was dope. Tantrum with Jonah Lucas was dope. But I
Right.
do think that some of the records, like the Rave in the Wasteland, and I think the other one is You Can Make It.
Bulletproof. Oh,
Bulletproof. No, Bulletproof was cool. A lot of them sound kind of. Oh, Bulletproof sounded like a knockoff, like Jelly Roll record. Like I don't know who the singer was on that record, but he sounded
yeah. No,
like
I
a.
thought it was Jelly Roll at
Yeah,
first.
he sounded like a knockoff Jelly Roll. A lot of this stuff, like when my wife and I were listening to it, especially like Rave in the Wasteland, sounded musical theater-ish. It sounded like a theatrical experience, but
I'm
I
gonna
still
go
thought the
there.
album was dope. I'm not gonna knock it. I think it should fall in that category as adult and temporary hip hop. Will Smith is a talented MC. Whether or not you think he's corny or not, I think Will Smith is a talented MC. I think he can rap. And he should display that on
Yeah.
this record. But what say you, Leroy, about this joint?
Well, I like the album. I think that, people should probably be going through something. And when you're going through something, then put this album on. If everything is nice and calm and peachy in your life, this ain't the album for you. If you going through something for real, then I think you should probably put this album on. But as far as like the delivery itself, I think that, it's a little rusty, but I think if you don't rap on a consistent basis and you come back to it, you're gonna be a little rusty as far as like some of the lyrics sounding like maybe he was reading while recording, or if they're not fully memorized. So I think full memorization is gonna help when you deliver the lyrics anyway. But that these are small knocks I'm making on the record. Um, but a layer there is like the interlude you were talking about, like the acting part of it, right? So a lot of our hip hop history has been keep it real, right? So everybody's so real. Should we add an acting element? Like should should we be acting on these albums too? You know what I mean? Aside from just like I'm gonna give you everything I'm talking about is real. This is my real, 100% real, real, real. Can we pull out characters and then rap in character and make that a part of albums too? Because I think that's a lane. And from a real actor, like we know Will Smith is a real actor for real. Do you know what I'm saying?
No
And
doubt,
I
no
would,
doubt,
you know,
no doubt, no doubt. I want to interrupt the program real quick. My son wants to rap. His name is No Pac.
okay.
Go ahead and rap, man. Do your
Cap, rap,
say it. Go to the mic.
cap, rap is on the
uh,
map.
Say your rhymes. Keep going.
Um,
you
Say
chat,
working?
I chat. I'm on the map. I do it like that. I would do 0 to 60
Hey,
with 6 flat. I put you
we
on my
all
back.
started out that way.
Okay. All right. Well, go write some rhymes, man. Come back with it.
You
All right.
working though? You got two solid lines, and you got the one syllable rhymes. We
Yeah,
all started.
we need to set him in the pendulum and learn, man, because
I got him. You know what I
he
mean? I
ain't got it
got him.
right. He ain't got it right now. But anyway,
All right.
my
You
apologies.
know, you got to work on it. Like
He's a
like
little
Will
rusty.
Smith. Will Smith is a little rusty. I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend. He's a little rusty. I'm
Little
just
rusty, little rusty. Again, I thought it was I think it was a well put together album. Again, I think 20 years not to put out an album is a very long time. Um, I wish he would have put out music in the middle. I would like to go see Will Smith on tour, maybe, because you have to think he's 56 years old. This could be the last album he ever makes. You know what I'm saying? This
yeah,
could
yeah,
be
no, yeah, of
because in
course,
20 years from now he'll be 76, and I doubt
of
that he
course.
will be putting out a. He might, as Will Smith, he might put out a CD or not a CD, but he might put out an album in 20 years. But it's maybe like the last hurrah. You know what I mean?
I think it's probably going to be his last. And touring is not easy either because he's missing out on money. I mean, he's Will Smith. So if he goes on tour, how much money is he missing out on because he's on the road? Like this guy is Will Smith. He's not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I
He's
want to.
missing out on tens of millions of dollars.
And I want to be very respectful to our legends. I got nothing but respect to what Lil Smith did for hip hop, did for Black culture on the big screen and in cinema. But when we were listening
Right.
to that barbershop record, my wife she listened to the record. She's like, "Well, I like this record, But I just got one question. Well, he ain't answered
Yeah.
this one question I got. And but
Uh,
I don't know. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying?
he
But
joked. He did joke about it.
did he
He
really?
did. Yeah, at one point he was like, "Will Smith, you need to untangle some shit." You know what I'm saying? Like he's joking right there. You
Well,
know what I mean?
no, but no. Ain't the entanglement. He dressed that.
Okay.
There was the other one with his homie that they said they've been saying that happened in the trailer. You know, I don't know. You know,
That is kind of far. That's a far
but that's
stretch. You know
something
what
they've
I
been
mean?
saying. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah, that's a stretch. You know, that I felt the same way about that when people was like, Pac, when he was in jail. That's a stretch. You know what I'm saying?
but
Like,
it's such a stretch. You gotta say I would like if somebody said that about me.
oh,
I gotta
eh,
say, if somebody said that about me, I gotta address it. You know what I mean? Come on. No, it could go one or two. It can go one or two ways. It could be
ah,
so absurd. I could ignore it. Like
I'm
whatever.
laughing at I'm just gonna laugh. Because that is so absurd that I don't even know where to go with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, if that's what you think, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, hey, whatever.
Hey
You
man,
know what
but the album again. Let's get back to the album. The album was dope. I thought it was cool. Again, I like well, I liked it. I mean, he did an adult contemporary hip hop album. There's nothing else could he have done. I know he had did some stuff with
I mean?
what was that record he did? It was like a snippet of him in the car. And he was like, I bang
Oh,
bang,
yeah,
I
right,
gang. You know what I'm saying? That was a little,
right, 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 right. He said something like, "I'm, I'm just by myself, but I could bring my gang," or
I said
something
I
to
can
that
gang
effect.
gang, you know what I'm saying? I can
I could
bang.
be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
you
think
know,
he's trying to relate to the youth there, you know what I'm saying? I would say, yeah, we could call it adult contemporary rap, but I do think also a lane is like music that's tailored for the whole family. Like music that you put out and you say, okay, you listen to this with the family. You know, now I think that's a lane and a very profitable one at that, if done correctly. So if you hear the album, you could hear that how you could put that on with little kids in the next room, and it's like they're not gonna hear nothing crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's a lane. Looking for me was pretty dope. Like I said, I think he could have memorized things a little bit better. Rave in the Wasteland. So wasteland being like, you know, uh, on the inside, when you're feeling away, maybe you're like a barren desert on the inside. You know what I mean? So that was cool. It deals with, he's dealing with a lot of like repairing your inner turmoil, right? And I think that's a jewel to that, because like, how do we do that? And that's a serious question. Like in hip hop, if that's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna repair our emotional damage and trauma. How do we do that? So, what Rave in the Wasteland, I thought that was cool. Bulletproof, I did like that song. At one point he said, bounty on my head, better send your hardest, because I dance in hell and high waters. So he dances through the fire, right? I think that's a cool message. Hard times I thought was cool. He said, no past or future, present in the moment. So bad you got to be a good omen. So turning bad to good. Beautiful Scars, I did like that record. We covered that when he dropped that. You know what I mean? But what's good about that is, he said to work on myself, Kinsakori first. So that's the Japanese thing. You break a vase or break something, and then you repair it. Put it back together with gold or silver, and lining it back together. That's powerful. Tantrum. Joyner Lucas. I always massacre his name. Sorry about that. He said, turn my traumas into an anthem." That was fire. Make it look easy, I thought was cool. He said, life's gonna keep lifing, knives gonna keep knifing, spite gonna keep spiting, so the light gotta keep lighting. That's fire. I deal with that. Um, you're gonna make it again. He said, the darker the hell that you gotta endure, the brighter the heaven you get to enjoy. That's fire. A work of art, the last song, that is a really good song to me. Not gonna front. I did appreciate that song, and it a lot of times we have talk about rappers contradicting yourself, but I don't know how you contradict yourself if you are both things, right? People be like, well, Leroy, he's about peace and violence. Yeah, yeah. Because on both of those in at the same time. Now that doesn't make sense to a person that says, "Well, you're contradicting yourself." But if you are indeed both at the same time, then work of art kind of makes sense. Like he could be his best friend and himself. He could be his own worst enemy, right? So he can be both things at once. He spoke to Jay Z about how the perspective of the record before it came out. Jay Z was basically like, be yourself, tell your real story. You ain't 25, so let's not front. Yeah, tell your real story. He spoke to Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick said, say the things that you're afraid to say, or things that you normally wouldn't talk about or say, to the public like that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he did both on the album. So I feel like he was true to himself. He kept it real, which I can appreciate. And he did talk about some tough matters, because I think this may be the toughest matter. Like the toughest subject matter in hip hop would be, let me deal with my own trauma, right? In the music. So how do I go about doing that? You know what I mean? Like that's a tough equation right there. You know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like he handled that, and that's why I feel like I'm more likely to give this album to the youth more so than a Little Durk record. And it's not because Little Durk is far off, but because of the wisdom there from Will Smith versus the the challenges and experiences that Little Durk is still living through. I feel like Will Smith is able to offer more because he's had a longer life experience. He's had a different life experience. Um, if have you ever met a person that's like happy all the time? Like they're happy every single day. You know what I'm saying? There is a science to that. That's very hard to do. Like I haven't mastered that. If anybody out there has, hey, but that's very hard to do. Like the guy that's happy all the time, you know what I'm saying? So that that's kind of impossible too. Like you're not gonna be happy like every day, bro. Like every day, really. You know what I'm saying? So there is a level of acting that has to go into that. Some acting I think could be bad. Some acting I think could be good, right? As long as you're not hurting yourself. You know what I'm saying? If your way of dealing with a hard time is acting your way through it and keeping a smile on your face, not that it's fake, but what it is as you're looking for something positive in the trauma. You know what I'm saying? If that's your way of dealing with it, I can salute that, because I think that that is probably the best way. Now I could be wrong. I don't know. But I'm thinking that that could be the best way to deal with whatever you're going through at a very low point, because if there's other alternatives to that, like Little Durk, he's kind of self-medicating, just going off what the songs themselves say. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of self-medicating. So in that instance, you're not really making the situation better, even though momentarily you may feel better. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. You know what I mean? These are the two differences. And again, this is not a judgment. You know what I mean? I'm not making a judgment call, because I just said, Will Smith is a lot older, a lot more experienced. He has a lot more on the table to handle these things. You know what I mean? And of course, he's a wealthy person. So I know somebody's gonna throw that out there eventually. Well, Will Smith, he has money, and that's very true, right? But let's say you are not rich like that, and you just have to deal with these issues without the comfort of money. You're gonna have to come up with an inner formula. You know what I mean? Now, whatever that inner formula is, I think we may want to have to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? In hip hop culture, because you got the next generation coming behind the Will Smith generation, right? So if they're gonna self medicate them way through the issue, that's probably going to go left. You know what I mean? Again, I don't have all the answers, right? I'm just observing like everybody else. You know what I mean? But if there's a way to handle these inner traumas without, you know, using a substance, I would think that's the better way. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to live to make it to 56. I hope that y'all want to live that long. You know what I'm saying? So
No
That's
doubt,
all.
no doubt, no doubt. Let's talk about. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'll put you on the spot real quick. What's your favorite Will Smith song, and what's your favorite Will Smith movie?
Oh, come on, man. You know I'm gonna go with summertime. You know what I'm saying? You know I'm gonna go with summertime, but that early Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, that stuff was fire, man. You know what I mean? I was raised on that, you know what I mean? Um, Favorite movie. Sheesh, off the top of my head, I'm probably going with Bad Boys. Maybe that sounds corny, but that's just a movie I remember watching a lot as a youth. You know what I'm saying? It's Bad Boys. So you know what I mean. But he has classics out there. Oh, like I take that back. I'm gonna go. I Am Legend. Now that's fire. You know what I'm saying? If y'all remember that,
I remember
y'all
that. I
remember
remember. I remember that. I
that's
remember that. I'm gonna
fire.
go. I'm gonna go summertime. I'm gonna go summertime's my favorite. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince record. I'm gonna go with that. From a solo perspective, it sounds a little corny. It might be a little corny, but Will Smith
Getting jiggy with it.
getting jiggy with it. You know what I mean? So I like that record. I mean, I like the record. You know what I'm saying? I like the
Hey
sample. You know
man,
what I'm saying? I like Miami.
is what it
I
is.
like Miami. Favorite movie is a tie. I'm gonna go with the first Bad Boys, and I'm gonna go Hitch. The Hitch was because I used to like Eva Mendes back in the day. So that
That was
was
pretty good, actually.
that was a good movie. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good
Eva Mendes.
romantic comedy. So yeah, Will Smith did some dope joints. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go Hitch, and I'm gonna go Bad Boys. But let's
Yeah. Oh, Independence Day.
Independence Day was
Oh,
crazy. Independence Day was
that was a
crazy.
dope one.
Uh the Suicide Squad was crazy. He didn't have a big part in
Yeah,
that, but that was crazy.
that was
Yeah, Will
fire.
Smith's got a lot of records. So shout out to our legend, shout out to the OG Will Smith, Fresh
Yeah.
Prince of Bel Air, music, first rapper to win a Grammy, the
Mhm.
movie game, he's been a staple in entertainment culture and society for a very long time. So we salute his accomplishments, and y'all go check out the album based on the true story if you haven't done so. We're going to segue to something else, and Leroy, I kind of sprung this up on you in the last minute. We got to have a conversation because we had a
Yeah.
conversation. We touched on this maybe the last show, I think. I don't know how we touched on it. How did we get to that point? I don't
I
even know how
think
we got.
maybe I think Super Bear brought it up. Yeah, man.
I don't know how we
Right.
got to this, but I want to ask the family a question tonight, and I just want to talk about it. And before I talk about it, I want to say this person is a 9-time American of Music. Nicki Minaj. She's on the screen. She's a
Mhm.
9-time American Music Award winner, a Brit Award winner, 13-time BET Award winner, 5-time Billboard Award winner, 8-time MTV Music Award winner. Not that I
Mm.
don't put stock on awards. 12-time MTV Europe Award winner, 6 People Choice Awards, Soul Train Music Award, 12 Grammy Award nominations, um,
A lot of
a
awards.
lot of awards, sold over
Right.
100 million records worldwide. She's the best-selling female hip hop artist of all time, and one of the
Yeah.
best-selling artists globally. Um, Her debut album, Pink Friday, is the second largest debut after Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Oh
In
wow.
2010, she became the first female solo artist to have 7 songs in the Billboard Hot 100. Again, I don't really put too much stock in Billboard, but this is what they say.
Mm.
2017, Nicki broke a record for the most Hot 100 entries by a female artist. She surpassed Aretha Franklin, and she became the first woman to accumulate 100 entries on the Hot 100. What
Wow.
else? What else is there?
Okay.
Nicki Minaj is the first woman to appear on the Forbes Hip Hop Cash Kings list. Hold on, let's see what else she got. Uh,
She has moved the needle in awards. Yeah.
she's got solo all these records. She is the most subscribed female rapper on YouTube. She has 27.2 million subscribers. What else does she have?
What are you going? Where are you getting to? Like, where are we going?
What I'm asking you
Where are we
know,
going?
I'm asking based upon her discography, and her discography includes she has 5 studio albums. She
Um,
has Pink Friday that came out in 2010, Pink Friday, A Roman Reloaded 2012, The Pink Print 2014, Queen
mm,
2018, Pink Friday 2023, and she's had 4 headlining tours. Her most recent one was the Pink Friday 2 tour, which is a world tour that sold out and kind of broke some records from a female perspective.
yeah.
Is she the best? Is she the GOAT? When we talk about female MCs, is there an
Um,
argument that Nicki Minaj is the GOAT of female MCs?
I don't know how we saying not. After you read off all that, then what can I really say against that? Because I'm gonna have to provide some evidence to that counters all that you just said. And how can I counter that? Now, if I want to strip all that down and we're just talking about bars, if that's where people want to go, I would caution people there too, because Nikki is not a slouch there. You know what I mean? So if we're gonna talk bars, Nikki is kind of prepared for that. If we're gonna talk crossover records, Nikki's kind of prepared for that. Even so, whatever argument people want to make, I don't know what we're gonna make here. What we're gonna do. Now, I'm from a Queen Latifah era, so I'm gonna be biased based on the era that I'm from. However, I can't knock what you just read off. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I could do with that but salute that. Because what else am I gonna do with that? You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
I don't
I
know.
mean,
It's a tough argument. You got MC Light, you got Queen Latifah, you got Little Kim, you got Foxy, you got Eve, you got Moni Love, you got yeah, you've got a lot of
oh
people.
yeah, Lauren Hill. You know what I'm
Lauren
saying?
Hill,
Missy.
Bahamadia, Heather B, Missy, Rod Digger, Lady of Rage. You got a lot of
Egg.
female MCs that you could say, that can hold that title. But I think pound for pound, when you look at it in totality, because again, a lot of people think that Nicki Minaj is just a pop star and just made pop records. But if you listen to her rhyme, she can actually rap. And I would a lot of
Mm,
people slept on Pink Friday too. Pink Friday too. She's rapping, and she's always been rapping. Even the mixtape Nicki before she got the BBLs and
yeah.
everything. You know what I'm saying? She was rapping. You know what I mean? So I would say there's an argument. I wouldn't be mad if somebody called Nicki Minaj the GOAT female MC. I wouldn't be mad at that. I just wouldn't be mad.
I wouldn't be mad because you know what I mean. And now, if someone is against that, I understand. I did hear a lot of those Nicki Minaj albums because Nicki Minaj is a huge star. She just is. So when she drops a project, I listened. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I didn't. I may have missed one of those albums. You know what I'm saying? But like, I definitely listened to the Pink Print because I'm a fan of the Blueprint. So if you name something Pink Print, what else you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? And then like and I thought she was barring up on there, right? I mean, a lot of people they know her singles. So I'm the type of person I'm skipping past the single. You know what I mean? Even though her last album had some dope singles. I'm skipping past the singles, right? I'm listening for the meat of the album. If you're giving me a full meal, I could go right to the dessert or I could deal with the meal, the meat and potatoes and vegetables, right? So I'm going to the meal. And she does supply that. She does talk about, like Will Smith just did, whether you like the rapping or not, the psychology behind overcoming adversity. And how do I go about doing that? Because that's the hardest fight. I don't think there is a harder fight than that in life. If there is, y'all let me know. But to hear her overcome adversity, I do appreciate that. You know what I mean? So I mean, I know there's certain knocks that the real hip hop, we're gonna hold it down. We're Rhapsody over here, and I understand that, and I'm not mad at that. Trust me, I've been ringing the Rhapsody bell for well over 10 years. You know what I mean? I've been ringing that bell. You know what I mean? But Nikki, she does cover a lot of bases. She just does. She just does. And what kind of sold me or sold me is the monster verse, and it's not just that verse, but it's the characters. We just talked about acting too, right? With Will Smith, it's the characters that she's able to bring out in her music because she didn't just do it in that verse. She has other songs that she does that as well, and I find that to be entertaining. I just do. In the same way that I found Missy to be very entertaining to me. The same way that I found Busta Rhymes and Ludacris, they're very entertaining to me. So when I hear Nicki and see Nicki, she is reminding me of a Missy, but it's just a different way. But I'm entertained by all that craziness that she's doing. You know what I mean? So I got to give that props because that's not easy to do. It's just not. You know what I mean? That's not easy to write a verse like that and flip out like that. You know what I mean? So I gotta salute that, man. I
Yeah,
would agree if yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, we can't give GOAT titles out because you have to look at the body of work, right? You got to look at the longevity in the game, what you produced in the game, and there's also politics involved. Let's just not, let's not kid ourselves. There's reasons why
Right.
people are able in positions to put out records and put out singles and put out
Absolutely.
albums and put out work. But if I was to look at the female hip hop landscape, there are two MCs, and I didn't even mention the Brad earlier, but there's two MCs that could have been the GOAT if they would have
Mhm.
just put out a few more projects. They had the potential to be the female GOAT. Number one is Lauryn Hill. The
Oh, yeah.
miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the work with the Fugees. If she would have put out maybe one more album of bars, two more albums of bars, she might have been
Yeah.
unquestioned. She would have been unquestioned. If she had like two or three albums and maybe a mixtape, she would have been the GOAT, hands down, right? Because I think she had that talent as a singer, as an MC to be that, right? But I also think, and I think she had, how many albums did she have? I want to
I
make
think if
sure.
Lauryn Hill drops one rap album, we're all dead. Like I fear Lauryn Hill as a rapper. Like
Well,
she inspires fear. Okay, like she's that good. You know what I'm
she's a
saying?
little long in the tooth now, so I don't know if she can still do it. But
I think we're all dead if she decides to rap.
um
Man,
okay. See, damn, I was,
what?
man, I can't even say what I was gonna say. But
What-
yeah, I can say
Where
what
you
I can say what I'm gonna say because I
say
want
what
to be
you
honest.
want?
I got to be honest with the people. I didn't even hear this album. I was gonna say that Eve had the potential to be the GOAT female MC, but I can't.
Mhm.
She had four albums, and I don't remember the last one at all. So that
Yeah,
Lip Lock came out in 2013, which is 12 years ago. Then she had Evolution. She came
I was
out really.
never really.
She came out three albums back to back. She had Rough Riders First Lady, 99,
Uh,
Scorpion, and then Evolution. And I think Evolution is the one with Let Me Blow Your Mind on it. But Lip Lock, I don't know what that is, and there's no mixtapes.
I remember that dropping. I didn't listen to it, but I remember it dropping. I never really got into Eve like that. You know what I mean? And that's not her fault. She came out at a time where it's so many dope albums dropping. It's like I just missed that one. You know what I mean? I missed her wave or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if she could be the in my mind she couldn't be the GOAT because I don't have enough of her material in my mind to make that argument. Now,
No,
Little
I'm
Kim,
not saying she is the GOAT. I'm saying she had potential to be the GOAT, but I
oh
don't
yeah,
think the
yeah, yeah.
body of work matches what I'm saying. I think she had the talent, but
Right? I mean, Nikki. I mean, again, y'all, if y'all let me know pound for pound, right? Who you think is out here that could give Nikki a run for her argument? I'm not mad, but Nicki Minaj is a tall order. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be easy. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
We got I respect that opinion. Nkosi Gore says we got to stop separating the men and the women MCing as MCing. But yeah, but
Okay.
we separate in all disciplines, right? There's female UFC fighters and there's male UFC fighters. There's men's
Who said it?
basketball,
Nikki Gore.
there's female basketball, there's and the Academy Awards is the best actress and the best actor. So we gotta it's okay to
I
differentiate,
can respect both. You know what I'm saying?
you
I
know.
respect both opinions. Like I said, I think we're all dead if Lauren Hill comes outside and she wanted to prove she could rap. If that was her attitude, like I'm gonna prove to y'all I'm really the one. I think we're all dead.
Right,
and that's a female.
and it's no knock to female MCs, it's not a knock to men. I think it's okay to have different categories because men and women have different perspectives. His perspectives are not the same. You know what I'm saying? We all have
Well,
different
it's just so
perspectives.
many men. It's kind of hard to put the
Right.
women in there too. You know what I
So
mean?
if
But
we want to do that in hip hop and we're gonna say we're just gonna say MCs and just remove gender from the conversation, then we have to put the same, the same energy toward the Academy Awards or the Golden Globes or the Emmys, we'll have to say, hey, look, it's just
I'm
you're
not,
just an actor, you know what I'm saying, male or female. And I don't think that's right. I think everybody should have their different expression because when you act, you emote different things when you're playing a male character or a female character, it's different. You know what I'm saying? And those things should be celebrated. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, either way, I can make both arguments. If we're going to include them, I'll make an argument there. If we're not going to include them, I tend to kind of still say female rappers, and it's nothing personal. It's just that there's so many men rappers that it creates just a small pocket for the ladies. So that's why I say female rappers. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I want to just be, just to respond one more time to Coach Gore, she says, or here she says, but writing isn't physical, but the voice is a
Yeah,
physical trait. You know what I'm saying? The way you emote on the record, you know what I'm saying? Your vocal tone,
right.
your inflection, your perspective. Music is emotional and music has perspective. And I think you should honor the way the females represent by having their own category. And it could be, Lauryn Hill was thought to be about, again, like Leroy said, she was pound for pound just the best of her era. You know what I'm saying? Male or female. You know what I'm saying? So, and then Nicki
Yeah.
too. Like Nicki too. I mean, let's just take it. I mean, from a superstar perspective, we looked at the year 2010 last week. Um, Hell, it was Drake, Kanye had My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and then Nicki came out, right? And that was the super. She's a super duper star. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people came out in 2010, but there was only two superstars, or three. Was Kanye? Well, three that kind of put out seminal albums,
It was
right?
like three. Yeah, it was like three.
Kanye, Drake, and Nicki. So
Pretty much.
it's no shock. I just think we just gotta keep it across the board, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, yeah. So
There we're going.
I don't know where we going, man. We kind of whipped through this quick, man. I wish I could open up the phone. We got an interview tonight. I'm waiting for my man to let me text Mike real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, no, bro was dope, man. I don't want to mess his name up, man. But both rappers, you put me on like two different rappers, and they was fire. So and I did have some questions for him if he's down to do an interview, only because I only you just told me about him, so I only listened to probably about 5 songs. You know what I'm saying? So, but he had a song called "Woke Came." So I got my own feelings and thoughts on that, but I'd rather ask him to explain his own song versus me try to explain a song that I didn't write. You know what I'm saying?
Let me see if I get my man on. I got a question for the audience before we
Uh,
get to it. I got a question for the audience. What city is next in hip hop? I know we had Atlanta had it for a while. New York is the mecca. LA had it. The Bay had it. New Orleans had it. I think Dallas has it. That's my opinion. With Big X to plug and a lot of rappers out of Dallas right now. You know what I'm saying? What
mm.
city? Miami had it for. What city is next? You know what I'm saying? Who is Memphis next? Is Memphis rocking? Who's got it right now? Who's got next?
See, that's a hard question because we're in the internet era. I'm interested to see a rapper come from a city and sound like he's from another city. Now that's a different perspective because people are like, you should sound like your city. But the problem with that is that's what I hear 99% of the rappers doing. You If you take a rapper from Dallas, and I'm not mad at it because it makes sense, right? But still, if you take a rapper from Dallas, I can hear that he sounds like Dallas. And again, I'm not mad at that. But then if you give me 10 rappers from Dallas, I can hear that all 10 of them come from Dallas. Now, and that's cool. The thing about it is this is the internet era though. So ASAP Rocky can come out of Harlem sounding like he's from Houston, and it still makes sense. Do you see what I'm saying? Because now we're on the internet, and the internet don't have one city. The internet is all the cities. So that's just a different perspective, and I'm not mad at both, because people kind of tend to stay with their city sound. So I don't know what is next right now. You know what I mean? I know New York, they're going through their, they got their drill thing going on. So I don't know. You know what I mean? LA is still LAing. It's still, LAing, if that's even a word. They're doing their thing. So I don't know. You know, poets and
I,
rhymers. You said I just want NY to be true. Okay, well, I don't know. They sound like they true to me. I mean,
I want to shout out some. I want to shout out some folks real quick. Hold on. I want to shout out some folks real quick. Hold on.
Yep.
I think Dallas got next, man. I think Dallas got next. There's a couple cats I like from Dallas. I think I kind of shared it on the last show. Um, yeah, I got it right here. Hold on.
Big X the plug. The
Yeah,
plug is
shout out to
dope.
Big S the Plug is dope. Big S the Plug is dope. Um, who else is there? It's a couple guys, man.
I mean, but
Shout out to Ty Harris. Shout out to Rakim Al Jabbar is dope. Young Hood. Young Hood. And then Head Honcho Amir is dope as well. Head Honcho Amir, Gunna Maze, Young Hood, and Rakim Al Jabbar. All Dallas Fort Worth rappers again. And then with Big X the Plug doing his thing, I think Dallas is next. You know what I mean? I really do.
okay. I mean, in that they could. You know, what I mean, like I said, Big X the plug. He's moving out here. I mean, them records sound like big records. You know what I'm saying? So if they follow behind that, you know what I mean. I think that every city has had their chance to do it, and there's a big song initially, and then there's other artists that follow behind that, and they have their own twist on that big sound. Um, I'm not. I wouldn't be mad at Dallas at all. You know what I mean? If they can't started coming with some fire, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. You know what I mean? I'm love to hear it. Bring it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, we're waiting on an interview right now. We got an artist called Demone. Demone, what's his name? My man Demorne.
Thought I wrote it down here. Yeah, you just told me about it, dude, and I did like the songs that I heard. He had a song called "Conqueror," still hip hop, Wocane. I
Demorne Warren. Demorne Warren.
I'm
Demorne
Warren,
Warren.
man.
I'm about to send him the
Mhm.
link right now. Hold on one second. Let me get the link.
All right,
Hold on. So let's riff up,
he
Larry. We got to improvise right now. It's show business. We got to talk. We got to fill the gap.
all
So
good.
what you want to talk about, brother?
It's all good. You know what I mean. So last week I talked a little bit about Lupe. That's wordy. That's wordplay stuff. This week with the Will Smith thing, I think that the acting in the music, I really do think that's where we need to go. You know what I mean? Now again, it's a way you implement that, because we do still like a level of authenticity, right? But if you're going to do some acting in there, meaning there's certain songs that you may play a character, like you remember DMX, he had the conversations with Damien or whatever, right? So he's character playing in that song. You know what I mean? Y'all remember like Sticky Fingers, his solo joint. The life and times of Kirk Jones or whatever, the autobiography, right? So he's acting in that. So Will Smith in his interludes, he's acting like what he does for a living. But I am anxious to see hip hop go there, because I think the lane is so vast, and has so much opportunity there. You know what I mean? For artists again to be put in certain roles as artists, whether it be TV, movies, and to give their acting chops, a chance to see what they can do. You know what I mean? I would like to see that happen more, and it just gives the music so many extra layers, right? So any of the next goat talk that I'm gonna do, it involves some acting, right? I mean, the rapper is not necessarily acting, but he's inspired by a movie, right? So the music follows the movie, right? And that is very powerful. The movie, it lays out a script that can be followed. You know what I mean? So I'm just anxious to hear that. So every week, and I've been doing it. If you look at like even the shows in the past, I talk about new elements that are kind of overlooked all, and then ways that the game can be added onto in a lane that can be driven down, and what I mean, to use. So I like it. You know what I mean. Now, whether Will Smith is your favorite actor, I'm not saying he's that or nothing like that, but you hear him utilizing his acting skills on his projects, and I thought that was dope. You know what I mean. So I'm looking forward to that. Adding that as a thing on top of, of course, there's the lyricism involved, but there's just other things that can be done. You know what I mean, and other chambers that could be tapped into. As far as Little Durk's record, um, I think that's also a lane, right? Because in his music, and where he's at, he got nothing but time to think, right? So when you got that time, you're running through all type of plays in your head and memories and things, and places you should have zagged when you zigged, and etc. Right? So how to deal with the psychological aspect of life in the music? I think that's the final boss. You know what I mean? I think that's the final level. If in this hip hop thing, if there's a maximum level or highest level of content that I think hip hop needs to tackle, I think that's what it is. You know what I mean? The psychological aspect in the music. You know what I mean? And so, I'm gonna speak about that as well on the next Goat Talk as well, only because the music that I'm talking about, it kind of deals with that. You know what I mean? It deals with um, the thoughts of this rapper. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just looking to. I think we got to add on because again, and this is no shots, no diss. I think a lot of times people say, "Well, I just want good music," but is there something else we can add to that as well? You know what I mean? Other than it just being musical, what are some other elements that could be added to it? You know what I mean? And some things that could drive it because hip hop, it goes in a cycle, it goes in waves. We got, one time it'd be hardcore rap, it'd be at the height. Next thing you know, it'd be a more pop driven hip hop that'd be at the height. We'll have materialism will be at the height, then we'll have something more emotional. So we're just trying to add on. That's all. And as far as like contradiction arguments, because that's been raised a lot, using Kendrick Lamar and certain other artists. I think like a work of art, the last song on Will Smith album. What if you are all these things? You know what I'm saying? Can you contradict yourself if you are multiple things at once? You know what I'm saying? So that's not a contradiction to me. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right, right. So we waiting
yeah,
for the
okay,
artist to jump in. We waiting for the artist to jump in right now. Give me a minute,
okay,
and then we'll go from
yeah.
there. But um, but yeah, man, hip hop's in a good space right now. A couple festivals were announced. I think Young Thug has been announced as the headliner for one of the festivals this summer. So hip hop's in a
Oh,
good spot right now. You know what I'm saying? It just is.
mm, yeah, yeah. Young Thug. I mean, what's going? But again, I came up in a certain era, right? So I'm like the Will Smith guy in the room, meaning that era, right? And actually, obviously, he's older than I am, but you know what I mean. Sometimes adjusting to this new era, it's cool because I like the styles must change. Like We know that. Like, we're not gonna keep using the same styles from 20 years ago. But, you know what I mean? I do find it, sometimes I could be turned off by if people are similar. Like, if there's a bunch of new artists and they all have a similar style or perspective, I would like to see some change up. You know what I mean? Because there's so much to rap about and so much that we could all have different perspectives. We don't have to just everyone copying an echo chamber of the same opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of off that. You know what I mean? So not trying to diss the newer generation because there is a lot of talent there too. But you know what I mean? It's just a lot, man. It's like 1,000 rappers out here. You want to be different. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, hey, yo,
That's it.
RIP to Young Scooter. RIP to Young Scooter. Young Scooter was an ATL uh, underground, not underground, but legend. You know what I'm saying? He was somebody that was active in the scene for a long time. Worked with a lot
Mm.
of folks in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Had that joint Columbia. Unfortunately, he lost his life on his birthday, which was a tragic situation. But shout out to Young Scooter and his family. Y'all in our prayers, man. It's just unfortunate. We're losing a lot of people too soon, man. We are, man. Um,
That too. I mean,
and I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why. I don't know what the solution is, but we're losing too
I
many people too soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think the solutions are out there, but just identifying them, I think we're missing a lot. Like, you're about to have a guest on right now, and so there were some solutions in his music to issues that I picked up on, and I said, okay, this guy's dope. But it's not just about that because the rhymes themselves were dope too. But again, back to the Will Smith album, I think he's dealing with solution, right? Because if you have a problem, first thing you want to do is get to the solution, and I think that in hip hop, we should start to put those on the table because that's like it's an action, it's a verb. You know what I'm saying? You got to put some action behind that. We just gonna listen to it, then it's probably just gonna fly over everybody's head. You know what I mean? But we got to start. And I don't know what the circumstances of young Scooter was. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just hearing this now, so I'll look into it. But yeah, we definitely want to be alive, for as long as possible. So yeah, man,
No doubt,
it's
no
just
doubt. We waiting on our guests, man. We waiting on our guests. And if you got some guests that you want to put our way, email us at info@accordingtohiphop.com. And yeah, man,
no doubt.
we got to start talking about saving some of these artists because even somebody that isn't lost to like gun to the gun. Mac Miller, a dope artist, lost too soon. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm-hmm.
what's my man, Juice World? Gone too soon. You know, even somebody
Yeah,
I didn't
well,
like. I didn't like Little Peep. Little Peep, gone too soon. Drugs. You know what I'm saying?
well,
It's a
that's the
cycle.
answer though. Now, I think the answer is to like self medicate. Like, well, I'm just gonna do as many drugs as I can do to try to handle my situation. That is not. I don't think that formula is gonna work. Well, I know it's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So which one of the OGs is gonna say that? You know what I'm saying? Is it gonna be me to say that? Is it gonna be has it already been said by other people, or what needs to happen so we can tackle that? Because until you tackle that, it's gonna keep happening. You have to address it with the person first in order to tackle it, or address hip hop to tackle it. We can't just ignore it and then think that it's just gonna go away on its own. Like, nah, it's not gonna go away on its own. You gotta address it. You feel what I'm saying?
You got to address the situation. You know what I'm saying? You got to address the situation. Demorne Warren is trying to connect right now. So he's trying to connect with us right now. He'll be on shortly. He'll be on
Dope.
shortly. Just give him a second. But I like talking to new artists, man. I like not even new artists because I think the Mourne's been in the game for a minute. But I like talking to artists that people may not be familiar with because hip hop is a
Mhm.
very regional thing, right? We've got people that's in the South that you may not know in the Bay. There's people in New York that may not be known in the South. There's people that's been bubbling in Memphis for a long time or in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these Dallas cats They've been out for a long time and people haven't even heard them. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to connect with artists that we may not be familiar with on a mainstream level and use a platform like this to kind of have them spread their message and introduce themselves to a wider audience. So if you have
Mm.
artists, if you know artists that you want us to connect with, to talk to on this platform, hit us at info at according, the number two, hiphop.com. Again, it's info at according to hiphop.com. And we will talk to these artists and we'll platform them and we'll have discussions because we want to know about not only their music, but what inspired them to pick up the mic, what inspired them to write these lyrics, what inspired them to put their pain, their passion, their fears, their goals, the thing, their ambitions in front of the world. You know what I mean? So that's what we want to
Mhm.
find out. And I think we want to explore these artists because a lot of platforms, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. A lot of platforms have contributed to the cycle of death and drugs. They think it's funny. They put one rapper that's beefing on a pod, then they get it, and it's like gossipy pods, right? And
Mhm.
they sit around and watch it and they talk about it. Yeah, I've never seen so many people jeopardize their freedom and jeopardize their life just for podcasts, for clicks, for likes. It's insanity, man. They're leaving behind children, they leave behind families, leaving behind money, legacies, communities, because of likes, because of ego, man. Ego is a quick way to is ego is a quick way to
Right.
check out, man. It's
Definitely.
unfortunate.
Well, like you said, like solutions, right? One reason I want to talk to new artists too is to pick their brain on what how are they navigating the game right now? The game isn't what it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years. You know what I mean? It's a different landscape. So you're attacking it with different tactics, right? And then also the situations we're talking about too is like if no solutions are put on the table, like if you got guys that are just only focusing on the problem, and they may come from a certain background too, like say a whack 100 or whatever. He's gonna give you a whack 100 response, right? Because he's gonna give you what he grew up on, right? I mean, he's not gonna give you something else. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna give you what he is, right? So, but you need multiple perspectives so that a person can choose what is the best perspective to go with, right? Am I going to listen to Whack 100? Am I going to listen to Will Smith? Am I going to listen to Gilly the Kid or Wallow? Which one am I going to take advice from? And I know people would like to say, well, we don't need leaders and no one takes influence. But the reality is people do take influence, especially if they're a young person. They do take influence. That is just a fact. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. So it got to be some solutions put on the table in a serious way, and it might have to be difficult, right? To talk about difficult things, but if that's what we got to do, it's better to get it out the way and really handle it, right? I'm not a type of person that will run from a problem. I'm the type of person that'll go to it because we're gonna get to it to try to handle the issue, right? Rather than to have it linger around, you know. So that's
Yeah,
all, man.
and shout out to Free. I'm trying to understand because I asked this question on the pod before. I know it's Kai Sinet. I know I'm familiar with Twitch. I'm familiar with Kick, those platforms, those streamer platforms. There's a
Mhm.
difference between a podcaster and a streamer, and I'm trying to understand the streaming wave. I know it's more for the youth, and the kids
Right.
are into streaming. Where does hip hop fall in the streaming lane? I mean, what is it? Is it people just sitting in front of their camera for hours? And
For the
is that
most part.
is that a is that the move? Who in hip hop? I mean, other than Kai Cenat that I know, who's winning in that wave? Because when I was talking earlier about, I know specifically podcasts, right? And I don't want to
Uh,
name these podcasts, but podcasts contributed to, like, people getting locked up and people dying. You know what I'm saying? Because one artist would get on, talk what they
mm,
talk their talk, then another artist would get on, talk their talk, then they would tweet. So my question is, should there be some kind of and I'm a free speech guy, right? I'm a First Amendment guy, so I don't want to censor anybody,
right.
but should there be some content moderation? You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're
Probably.
throwing out a threat, right? You know what I'm saying, on these platforms, do the platforms have a responsibility to monitor these things? If I just play music, right? Or if I put a picture up, I
Mm,
might get a copyright strike, or I may get a copyright violation or whatever, right? But this
yep.
actual tweet saying, "Yo, I'm gonna pull up to the op based upon a song," you know what I'm saying? And they're
Hmm.
distributing and disseminating records when they're actually naming people that are being targeted. Who is there
Right.
responsibility on the label or the producer or the you or YouTube,
Well,
or I mean, how do we mitigate some of this stuff?
I mean, to be honest, now I don't know in the pod space or in the streamer space if there's some responsibility that could be there because I think I would be asking a young person to watch out for another young person. I don't know if that really works well like that, you know what I'm saying? But as far as the labels go, I do think there is a little bit of responsibility only because you're asking somebody to make music and they're funding the situation. You should probably look out for that person. But also realizing it's no perfect way to do that. You know what I mean? There's no perfect way to make sure that things don't go left. But I wouldn't want to contribute. I wouldn't want to throw gas on a fire. You know what I'm saying? That I don't think helps anybody. So I think if we see something looming, we should probably either try to mitigate and not be nobody's parents. It's not about that, but just being like, maybe y'all two need to get on the phone with each other. You know what I mean? If this rapper A has a problem with rapper Z, all right, maybe y'all need to just get on the phone with each other and y'all just work that out because maybe it's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I don't know. You know?
No doubt, no doubt. Well, right now we got a special guest in the building, Demorne Warren, the leader of Do for Self Entertainment, just dropped his
I like
fourth
that.
album, The Process. What's
I
good,
like that.
brother? Welcome to the show, man. The Weekend Rhyme. What's good, brother?
Yo, peace, bros. How y'all doing, man? Thanks for having me, man. How y'all doing today, brothers?
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, man. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate so for our audience, man, we like to bring artists on that's been in the game for a minute. This is your fourth album, The Process. Tell the audience who you are, where you from, how long you've been in the game, do for self entertainment. Give us your backstory real quick.
All right, bet. Well, my name Demorne Warren. From Southside Jamaica, Queens. Grew up in Queens, New York. Grew up with Lost Boys. Neighbor
I
was
hear.
Mr. Cheeks. From the Lost Boys. That was my next door neighbor growing up. The fam growing up, and you know what I'm saying
Right.
was, and just been in the hip hop since the youth. Got into just listening and one day started just freestyling, just like diving in the water trying to swim, and you know what I'm saying, and just playing around with it, and that was just something we would do as a pastime. And then after a while, you know got a little better with it, and I didn't really think I was going to take it serious, but little in high school, me and a couple friends of mine started a little group, started our thing, and we made a group called Exile. So wound up
Mm,
had a three-man group. So that was kind of the beginning of, and me pursuing, this and trying to take this serious. And at the time, we got linked up with the man Clark Kent, man. Rest in peace to the brother, man.
in peace.
Superman Entertainment. This is like in the mid '90s and stuff. So we worked with him for a while. That was one of the first people that got to work with that taught me like song structure and how to, put 16 bars together because we just had long rhymes and was rhyming all day, and they was like, you got to make a hook and stuff like that. So yeah, worked with Clark for a minute, and this is that was just for a brief time. But later on, me and my homies, the group thing kind of, everybody started pursuing different interests, but I kept at it. And about 1998 or so, linked up with my brother Paul Leon, my man Felix, Rob, rest in peace to my brother Roberto, Yepes, you know what I'm saying, Robbo, and my man Miguel. So we was you know, they were working in D&D studios at the time, and my man was telling me, yo, I got my boys is up in D&D, and I heard about it a bit, but I wasn't really known besides the song D&D All Stars. I had heard that. So I was like, all right, whatever, cool. So, we started linking up, went over there, first met my boy Paul, kind of thought it was like, might have been some static because I seen him standing, just eyeballing me and all, but After that was just Paul Style, kind of just a laid back cat. You know what I'm saying? He was just getting to know me. So he just watching things and
Right.
shit. So as time went on, you know what I'm saying, man, we all just started to like got to know each other better and was like, yo, let's work together. So we started putting together music and it
That's
was a
who's doing
lot
the
of
beats. That's who's doing the
nah,
beats. Oh,
no, it was my boy Rob, like I said, Miguel, Felix. So it was the three of them guys at first. They were like the production. They all was in
right.
Five Towns College, I think, out there in Nassau, one of those that way, the beat making schools and learn engineering, audio
Mm,
engineering schools, stuff like
yes.
that. Paul was
Mm-hmm.
there at the same time with them too, so they all linked up at the school together. And then I met my man Miguel in Queens. I'm from Queens, so we met up there, and met this dude, and he was like, "Yo, you like hip hop?" I'm like, "Of course I do." He's like, "I do beats," and I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever." But then when I heard his beats, I was like, "Yo, son got some shit." So from then on, we started to like link up, and then he introduced me to the rest of the team, which was so that was who was doing the production pretty much. My man Rob,
Mm,
Miguel, and Felix. You know what I'm saying? Felix was out of Harlem, and Rob is out of Brooklyn, and Miguel out of Queens. So it was just like the typical New York kind of mixture of a bunch of people from everywhere.
right.
Just it was all teamed up.
Fire.
Yeah,
Fi-
yeah.
Fire.
So
Yeah. I'm Leroy Green, by the way, according to hip hop. You know what I mean? I
I
just
peace,
recently
Leroy.
tapped in. Yeah, Ron just put me onto your music. I was
Hmm.
pleasantly surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I said, man, like, bro, definitely got bars. He know what he doing. His sound is on point. Song writing, song structure is on point. I represent not just according to hip hop, but Pendulum Inc. So when you mention the schooling of hip hop, I want to add the production. There are production schools out there. I don't know if everybody caught what he was saying, but
Yeah,
that's a real thing, and
yeah,
that's fire because it's a lot of producers and engineers sitting around mastering that craft. And the producers that I've heard that come from certain schools, they are pretty fire. I'm not going front. So it does help to be around other production, just as a sidebar.
No,
yeah.
But
You're
no, I,
right.
I like the music, man. You
Thank you,
definitely
man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, bro. A lot of you mentioned that, just like those schools, there was IAR. There was a ton of them. Everybody at some point was, not really everybody, but a lot of people were
right.
were going to them schools, and it made a lot of sense at the time. And many of those people became engineers and got into the
Yeah,
industry that way. So that's how a lot of us, or not myself, but a lot of my brothers, and got their start as well. So after us doing our thing in there in D&D, we started putting together music, and then years later, after it just by 2000, I believe 2005, late 2005, I put out my first debut album, The World According to D. Yeah, on Do for Self Entertainment. After us, we shopped around for a while. We had a couple potential deals that we could have signed, and just wasn't really feeling them after we took them to some entertainment lawyers and found out what it was, and it was nah. So
right.
we decided it was the best move was to be independent. So that's what we wanted to do. Took it that route, and yeah, and that was the same time when a lot of music, a lot of things were changes in the industry. But put that first album out, and that was So been here since that time. Fast forward 2025, it's my fourth album, The Process here. So a lot has happened between then and then, but let me not ramble, but give y'all a
no,
chance to
no, no,
answer the
no.
question.
That's a perfect segue. That's a perfect segue because I want to talk about your fourth album, The Process. Tell us about the process, the process of making the process. You know what I'm saying? Your thought process behind it. You know what I'm saying? What are you articulating on this to your fans and to the people on this album? And then I want to, after you answer that, I have a second part to the question. Do for self entertainment, right? Talk about that, the name, your thought process behind creating that, because a lot of that's something big in our community, like do for yourself or do for self. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
speak about the process of making the process, and then second part, do for self.
All right. So with the process of making the process, uh, I was, knowing that this is gonna be my fourth album. So as I'm thinking about it, just I thought about my creative process, but just in general, how like I process information. Like for the day, you might wake up and it's raining, so now this is gonna I gotta make my plans according to that. I gotta put a hoodie on, I might
Mm,
wear some whatever, because of the circumstances that happened make me make decisions different. But with me personally, I had went through the loss of my mother about 9 years ago, then my father about 3 years ago. So I think you try to just say, let me keep going and be strong for the fam and everybody to keep pushing and pushing. But some of the
Mhm.
time you don't really get the chance to really process the grief because you try to
Mm.
just keep going and going. So for a moment, I think it was about for me, let me process everything that was going on in my life and also what was going on in the country and just how I like to do things. So I wanted to take my time with it, and that was kind of like the thought process behind it. And then when I had that concept, I knew that I could build the whole album around that because it just spoke. It's like a universal thing. You always hear
Mm.
trust the process, or it comes up constantly. Like what's so it was just something that it was like I felt like I was just on the pulse of the timing of it, but just for me myself, like I knew that I needed to create something that would make me and make my listeners be able to feel it's a lot of fear mongering right now, I feel like, going on, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of
No doubt.
with a lot of things. So I just felt like let me see what's going on and then create like music that can make us feel like it's like an armor. When you hear this, like, you put this on, you won't have to feel
I
nothing.
caught
You ain't
that.
gotta worry about nothing. You ain't gotta, you know what I'm
I
saying?
caught.
That shit'll bounce right off you because you in your own space and you, with
Mm.
strength. Like, for us, started off with the conqueror because we gotta conquer all of the bullshit that's out
Mm.
there right now. You know what I'm saying? And just stand on business and come on, complete warrior mode right now. Like, ain't no time for no weak shit. So that's just kind of the beginning, but still, I ended it with a smooth thing because we can't just be on war, war, war. What are you warring for? I'm ready to go to war, but it's to defend the peace. It's to defend the things I love. So
There you
that's what
go.
it's about. So yeah, man, like, to remember that too, to remember that balance between, what you warring for and what you love. So that's kind of what it was, man. Just wanted to make a good album, like I said, that make the people feel like it's a armor for us, but at the same time, like, just some shit that you can feel good to after you listen to it. You
Yeah.
could, what I'm saying, put you in a different, take you to different zones
I
and get
caught
out of the
that.
same old shit. Because when
I
I
caught
had
that.
to, I had to pull myself out of
Yeah.
the zone too. I took a couple trips out of the, go travel around a bit, and then once you get out the country and you don't feel the same pressure that you feel here, you can think different. And then it made me be able to say, you know what, this has always been the case. Whatever's going on, this is not no new shit where, we got Trump in office, or we got the. It's never been, to me, never been no president that came and did,
Hit a light switch.
amazing things for us. I feel like we've always had to do for self. So now with the next question, let me segue right into that. Do for self entertainment. We that's the name of the crew because I think early on when we was, like I said, we was shopping it and trying to get signed, and you know after it was kind of like a slogan from the Black Panthers. We all heard this many times. Marcus Garvey, a lot of people always said the same thing, like, we can't expect anything, and we never could. So we have to be able to be self sufficient in that way. Not to say it's like a lot of people get it misconstrued, thinking it's like do for self on some selfish, like just do for me and forget you. No, it means like
Right.
not really asking, like, what I'm saying, for someone else. Like, if, and that's the thing, if I'm out here and my tire break down, I get a flat tire and I get out the car to try to
Yeah.
change the tire, somebody might help me. But I'm not waiting for somebody to help me because, otherwise it's like you might get help if you trying yourself, somebody see you and then look, they'll pitch in. But for the most
That's the
part,
that's the thing. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the thing.
yeah, we
If they
can't just
yeah,
go ahead.
help yourself into the point to where when others see you, they're more likely to offer maybe help because they already see you working anyway. You know what I mean? So it's do for self, but that
Right.
helps. That
Yeah, we
helps just to
welcome,
get
we
started.
welcome, we welcome communion. We want to work together. Like, I'm always open to work with anybody that's cool, like minded. You know what I'm saying? So we can, add on to this, but at the same time, it's so I don't want people to think it's like do for self and you know
Hmm.
screw y'all. It's just not about that. It's not even to say we don't care about anyone else. It's just to kind of echo that same sentiment that we was taught that that our heroes led by and the Black Panthers and all of them, like they didn't wait for like that. I just keep hearing the same thing when you hit the best way, they say not the best way to help poor people is to not be one of them. But I heard something, and that's a lie in a sense, because it's only really other poor people that help each other. Like it ain't, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Every now and then somebody, you think this rich person gonna be like a fairy godfather or something, but Black Panthers made that made the program to feed the kids. You know what I'm saying? They made the breakfast programs and shit like that, and they own thing instead of saying what need to be done. They just did it, and then after that, it was copied by the government, even though they tried to shut it down at the time. But just that type of mentality, man. Just do what we need to do for what we can. You know what I'm saying? Word.
Well, I got some questions about that, and I did catch those things in your music because on a song like "Still Hip Hop," I hear you're jumping around in perspective, which lets me know you can see things through multiple angles, right? And we
Yeah.
we have we have had a talk about subgenres. Should we have that in hip hop? Should we
Mm,
not? So maybe that'd be the second thing I'll go to. But you did have a song called "Wocaine," right? So
yes.
so I got my own opinion about that, but I only listened to the song one time. So
Okay.
it's very limited about what I'd be able to say. You wrote the song, so I'll let you explain what that means to you, and only because like I hear a similar conversation going on in the spot in the pod space right now.
Mhm.
So just the thought process behind that song, Wocaine, if you could break that down for me, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, great. Woking, that was off of my third album too, Undeniable. But I love that song. It was produced by my boy Half. And that song, I think I was trying to really just talk about the fact that we always have certain terminology in hip hop, and that terminology might change, but the meaning's usually the same. So like from back in the days, it was like, yo, you know what time it is? When Kumo D, dude, you know what time it is? And Flavor Flav with the clock on, like, you know what's up? You know what I'm saying? Just that just meant you was aware. So, and then so it went from just I felt like now when our slang. I remember a time, and you guys are probably, of course, old enough to at least remember a time when we did stuff. It took the masses a little bit longer to catch on, but now it's almost instantaneously. So now when it's not instantaneously, but because of social media and things like that, things that used to be more regional now can spread faster because so
Right.
now it's like they hear us say words like woke, and then next thing you know, you're hearing it in commercials and on the news and all
Mhm.
kind of stuff. And it was kind of weird to me. And then it became like they tried to attack it in the woke agenda and all kind of weird shit. And I'm hearing these people who don't even who trying to like basically take our vernacular and change the meaning of it and then use it
Co-opt
their
it.
own way and shit. And that shit is corny to me because you didn't make the word in the first place to define it. But then it's like once they get a hold of it, it's like now it just becomes whatever they think they want it to become and stuff. So it was kind of weird to me because I kept hearing the word woke, 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 and I find it funny because it used to be like are you a revolutionary, like or like like really are you ready to go to war, like that you hear like what's my
Right.
boy with I'm a revolutionary, Fred Hampton, but you don't. Then it went from that to being a rebel. In my generation, we was rebels without, and shit like that. But then
Mhm.
it's just now, just and then you was conscious. Now it's just woke. But being woke is like the bare minimum, like I was trying to say. So it's just first step because when you woke,
I
like
caught
I'm woke,
that.
but
Yeah.
are you active? Like okay, we woke, we see what's
Active.
going on, but then are you actually doing anything about it? So that was just kind of what I was saying, like, because a lot of people was it's just I was getting tired of hearing the word being told. So that's why
I
I was
can
like
I can
wocaine.
agree with
It's
that.
like it's addictive like cocaine. It was like
Right.
wocaine. So I just made
Okay.
fun of it. Like, Yeah, man.
I thought that's where you were going, and I agree with that. You know, I mean, just to kind of add on to what you know,
Yeah,
I'm around a lot of young soldiers, and I mean like young warriors. Like these are tough guys. They're younger, but they're like they have a warrior mentality because these are kids that grew up hunting. You know, they'll go out in the woods and they'll take down animals, and they're trained in martial arts. They're so these is young warriors. You know what I'm saying? A black. So I remember I was
see, they
eating.
ready. They're ready though. That's the
Right,
difference. They not just
right,
woke.
right.
Fuck being woke. That's
But
what I'm
they're still
saying. And
yeah,
but they
they're
ready.
still
But
That's the
but
bare minimum.
but let me let
because
me let me
they
Not
just
they
have the
still woke,
warrior.
of course.
Oh,
So we not against the woke or being woke, but it's just like you know what I mean. Sometimes once you know how it go, man. Once the shit get
but it's the
too
action.
time wants to
Yeah.
make some new shit. Once it get too,
right
it's
right
Let, let,
right.
just
let me
yeah.
let me let me finish land on this one point though. We were talking about diet though, right? And one of them said to me, you know, this is a real tough kid. I mean, he's like 20 years old, but this is a tough kid. And he's like, well, you know, gardeners gardeners ain't prepared for war. Something to that effect. I'm not really wording them totally correct, right? But at the same time, though, you need a little bit of both, right? You need a little bit of both, you know, because the conversation was about the foods, right? We should be growing our own food. So you need a little bit of both. So I caught that balance in your music of both. It's warrior
Uh,
energy, but not just that. You're gonna have to know some books. You're gonna have to know some dietary things. You're gonna have to know. You have to know how to exercise. You gotta. I
yeah,
caught
like
these
you
things.
said. I'm glad you did, bro. Appreciate that. And like you
Yeah.
mentioned that it's interesting because, like you said, they said they won't be completely ready, but there was times like earlier, like our ancestors, the hunter gatherer time, they wasn't always able to probably get meat every day. So you had to know how to forage as well. You had to know how to, like you said. So it wasn't just you can't if you only think I'm just gonna hunt. Yeah, you're gonna starve because you don't know how to
That,
that I can eat that them berries right there, or I can that's edible. These fruits and
mm,
these you gotta know how to, like you said, you're gonna need to be able to. That's why we gotta know we're gonna need each other, and we need a lot of the.
that,
We're gonna need a variety of things in order to survive. You're gonna need to know, like you said, how to. You need a hunter, but you need a fisherman, and you need somebody that know how to forage and knows what
that,
you know what I mean by the yeah. In order
yeah,
to
no doubt.
survive. Yeah, so that's facts, 100%, bro. Word.
Right. So I listened to a little bit of the process, Conqueror, Dinosaur, with or without him.
Hmm.
And you've been in the game since 2025. I want to ask you, what was the shift in New York? Because when I listen to your music, I hear it being the foundation of it is lyrics, it's lyricism, right? It's bars, right? But
Yeah.
over the last few years, we've noticed that the sound of New York has changed. So I guess I got a two-part question here, right? So what do you think attributed to this to us moving away from lyricism? And I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? It could be I could be out of the loop. There may be still folks in New York City that still like yourself. They're really are embedded with the lyrics. Or what shifted in the New York sound? Okay, and could it be can we ever get back to where MCs like yourself, where bars is the forefront of the work? Or what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think partially that what shifted is don't take this the wrong way too. I just feel like everybody here probably in well not say just I think once New York artists begin to see the success other artists were having from other regions and then also the focus on lyricism like wasn't really seeming to sell records, so it seemed I think people were probably for commercial reasons. I think it was just what's gonna sell or what's popping for the most part for some people. Like damn, that's that rapidy rap. And it's funny to me because some people will try to insult MCing, and I noticed Leroy, you mentioned like being a part of Pendulum Inc. and I know that I'm aware of that, and that's an interesting thing because that's about MCing. You know what I mean, and teaching the art of MCing from what. And salute to Mickey Fax and everybody's a part of that, and salute to all
My
of
God.
y'all. So that kind of thing, I'm from kind of that cloth of that, but at the same time, it's like when you got successful artists, we've seen. I'm not a rapper. We've heard it from people who, you know what I'm saying. So I think the whole sentiment was like, just go. And then the whole idea of I don't need to write too, and just I get in the booth and say whatever, and people just thinking they could bounce on the beat. I don't know, man. I really don't know, but niggas
No, you're
crashed
right.
out
You're right.
and just let the shit. I don't know, bro. I just try to do what I can. I gotta lead by example. You know what I'm saying? And I can't. I don't know. I really don't,
I
man.
do think you're right in the sense that I'm a huge, of course, a huge Jay Z fan, of course, but I think when he said I'm not a rapper, I'm a hustler, I think people took that a certain way. Also, when he says, I don't write it down, I just recite. I think people think that means. I think they took it as he's not thinking or structuring. But just because he doesn't write doesn't mean he's not structuring. You know what I mean? But I do think there is a power to writing it down, and you can't skip bases. I think a lot of the newer generation, they're skipping bases. I hear your songs. I don't think you can just skip a bass and write them type of songs. You gonna have
Nah.
to you gonna have to really lock in and think about what you're saying and put something down on paper that really stands for something, because you're not just gonna come up with that just on a fly. You know what I mean? So I think that people are chasing the quick dollar. You know what I mean? So
Yo, Leo,
it,
let me say something about that real quick, fam. That's interesting
mhm,
because like they'll hear Jay Z say something like, "Yeah, I don't write," but then he's so nice, so they might be like, "Damn, in order to be that nice, maybe I don't need to write." But what you gotta
right.
understand is, Jay Z used to write
Yeah.
at some point.
Right.
Maybe he don't now, but that's on some other level. You ain't there yet, man. Everybody can't, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know, man. Like, just that's bad advice. I think, and it's not even advice, but Jay never told people don't write rhymes. But when people hear that and they think of it like you right, it makes people think this is easy. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it upsets me because growing up, I remember thinking that MCing was hard. Like I thought based on the MCs I listened to, and I remember hearing Kane and G Rap, and I remember thinking Big Daddy Kane ain't gonna leave no words left for nobody else to say, man. Like
Right.
the couple, I was like, yo, what the ain't,
He gonna take all the
what's left?
words.
Like, you know what I'm saying? There ain't gonna be nothing left to rhyme together. Like once, but
Fact.
that's what I'm saying. I thought this shit was, so you felt like you really had to work hard in order to be able to even do this when
No
I was
doubt.
coming up. That's how I feel like, or even I still, think like, but now it's like, yeah, I think it's the bar's been lowered, so now it's like I can make a record. Anybody can make a record. It's the right production behind
Mm,
it. Like, think about like we done. I don't know, man. How many actors and just random people done made a rap record and shit nowadays, just as a novelty project. So,
yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's
yeah.
crazy. So we like to find out about our artists that we have on the platform, and we kind of want to answer a couple questions to get the people give a chance for the folks to get to know you a little bit better, man. So I want to ask you a question about your favorites, right? So beside favorite song you made, favorite song you wrote, that's one. Your favorite song that you created, a favorite song that you didn't create from another artist that's your favorite song, your favorite album, favorite movie, and favorite place in New York, and your favorite vacation. I know it's a lot of favorites I threw at you. If you can remember them
Uh,
all, but let's run them. Let's run down the list. Let's run down the
Do the
list.
songs. Do the songs, bro.
Your
all
your
right,
favorite
favorite
song first. Your favorite song first that you ever did.
that I ever did.
Yeah.
Right now I would have to say, my favorite being Judy. That's Miss Judy. The song I did dedicated to my mother. Because
Okay.
it took me a long time to be able to even want to make the song or make the song, but I just wanted to make a song that honored her, and I didn't want to make it really sad, so I felt like it came out kind of in a still had the sentiment I wanted it to have without it being like a sad song, because my mother was a upbeat person at the end of the day, so she always looked at things in a positive way, so I wanted to, yeah, that's my favorite right at the moment, yeah. But and what's the
Bro.
next one?
Your favorite song, not by you. Your favorite record that you either grew up on or you like right now. Just your favorite record of all time. It could be hip
Oh,
hop. It
okay.
could be non-hip hop. It could be anything.
All right. Well, if I'm gonna go with damn, that's funny. Ooh. Man, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I just say fantasy. You know what I mean, or something like that. That's
Okay.
that's that's one. You know what I mean. But let me give you a hip hop one too.
That's
Just one that may be just the one for the moment right now. But I just would say Ghostface one. Like
Supreme
one like that.
clientele. Okay, supreme
Supreme
clientele. Okay.
clientele, man. Word,
I
word. Um and where favorite vacation or favorite place in New York is you mean like to do what? Because there's a
Just
lot of
whatever,
different
man.
things.
If I'm coming to New York, I hit you on your line, man. Where I gotta go, man?
Oh,
What's your favorite place in New York, man? Where I gotta go?
man. Get the whole city. Just make sure you in New York City, not no other part. Don't be I'm in Syracuse and the
just
Rochester.
left
No,
there.
go to New York City,
Okay.
the five boroughs, and you good, man. That you but more or less, but you know what I'm saying. I would say Queens, Brooklyn, man.
If I
I
okay,
they gonna think they gonna
let me
think
be specific.
I'm from Queens, but Brooklyn was home from very long. That's home for a long time. So
Let
just
me
go
be
to
Well,
Brooklyn,
specific.
man.
Let me be specific, man. If I want to get something to eat, man, I'm a flying LaGuardia tonight, and I'm going to Queens. I'm in Queens. I'm gonna give me something to eat. Where I need to go, man?
Oof. Well, depends what you want to eat, bro. 'Cause we got the most restaurant. Queens got the most. It's like
yeah,
What's your
56,000.
they got
favorite?
like
What's your
every
favorite?
A
What's your
food.
million. They
favorite?
speak
What's your
every
favorite
language. So what
spot?
you want?
What's your favorite
Indian.
spot?
All right,
What's
you
your
like seafood, bro? You want Jamaican? You into
Oh,
you
give
like
me Jamaican.
Trinidad?
I
You ever
want
had
some Jamaican
Trinidad?
food. I want some Jamaican food, bro.
They got
All right, so you want some good banging Jamaican food? Then you know what? Honestly, man, I would probably recommend we go to Brooklyn, man. I'm sorry, we might have to go to Brooklyn. It's not that much of a drive, but let's go to. We
yeah.
could go. I wouldn't even say footprints at the moment. I like this spot downtown, but yeah, it's yo man, we can't go. Listen, it's too
Brooklyn got
many. It's
Jamaican
just
spots.
too many. Footprint is can't done. If you love
Fact,
Caribbean food, yeah, you can't go wrong, man. And but
fact.
anything you could imagine that it's like it's a food paradise. You like pizza, that's boring, but we got the best pizza in the world, man. And you got because I'm in Michigan now. I'm in Detroit area. I tried a pizza and every white Detroit pizza, it's cool, but in
Yeah,
Chicago, and I don't think none of it, that's like lasagna. So it's like I don't know. I think New York got the best food when it comes to, from what I've noticed, but that's just unless you into, like I said, I love Caribbean food. So the best Caribbean food is in the Caribbean. And the next one, favorite place to go, I would say at the moment is Trinidad, because I'm planning to go back again. They having Borough Day, so I'll be out there again in about April, into April and May, trying to go down there for a couple weeks and
dope.
enjoy that, man. Word, that's one of my favorite places, Trinidad and Tobago. You know what I mean? Just anywhere where it's warm, and outside of this, below that equator, man, where it's nice and hot. Word,
No doubt.
word. But
No doubt.
yeah, bro.
Fire, man.
Um,
Fire.
any other? Yeah, I forgot that. I think it was any other favorites I forgot?
No, I think you hit them all. I was going to ask you your favorite
Right.
album. You named one from Supreme Clientele. I don't know. I don't know
Yes,
if that's your
Supreme.
favorite album. But what's your favorite album though?
Damn, man. Was probably
If
something
these
from
are
Nas,
tough
man.
questions.
I gotta give it to Nas or something, man. Because but I love Wu Tang, man, so much. So I love, man. But I'm a real, it's too. I've been listening. I almost have to go by the decade, bro, because I've been, listening to rap for a long time, and I have my favorites depending on the era, at the time. But definitely, Illmatic is one of my favorite albums that I enjoy. But nah, you know what? And this is weird to say, but the Great Adventures of Slick Rick is probably
Yeah, yeah.
that
That's
album that still, because that shit is older than that album. And honestly, I be listening to like Kit, What's the Scoop, and I need to hear Lick the Balls or something. Like I gotta hear them songs like every couple days. Like the joints is on rotation regularly for me. So I still fuck with that. And that shit was made in '88. So shout out to Slick Rick, man. That's a big part of
I
my,
got I got one more for you. I got one more for you
yeah.
just for the youth to end this up because today we talked about two albums, right? I talked about Will Smith's latest album and I talked about Dirk's album. Both of these
Mm,
guys they go through their own issues, even though they may have money, whatever, right? They and
right.
they process their issues different ways. Will Smith he handles his issues with a different attitude. Lil Durk, he processes his things his way. So with
Right.
your process, right? With your process, how would you recommend to the youth they're going through an adversity, right? How to process that, and what's a jewel that they could use to kind of get through that adversity and process that and get through it in a healthy fashion. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm glad. Yeah, listen, from to the youth, I want to say this. Like, from one thing that somebody said to me, and I learned from my own, mistakes. Like, something that you do in 4 minutes like this could affect you forever. So think before you act, because and don't act. Don't let the ooh and the instigators, or the make you do something. Basically, don't feel like you have to prove something to your peers and wind up out here like not,
Crazy.
unalived or locked up or something, or were, because you could have let something go. So more or less, just think before you act, and you know be, yeah, for real, just really think
That's
before you act.
jewel right there.
Think about it 3 or 4 times before you do it, and and think about, is it worth it? Because a lot of times, we can fly off the handle, and so try not to, you know throw your future away so fast, because I got a lot of friends that happen too. So yeah, it just, yeah, be
Yeah,
careful
nah,
out here.
No
that's a
doubt, no
jewel
doubt.
right.
Well, Demorne Warren, we appreciate you joining the weekend rhyme tonight, man. What you want to leave the people with, man, about the process, about your work? Where can we find you at? What's your final words for the night, brother?
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for having me up here again, man, and to all the
You.
listeners and everybody on the platform, brothers. I appreciate y'all for the time and the support. Yeah, man. Just give it a listen, if anything, man. I would love to, for y'all to go ahead and, anybody that likes the album to purchase it, of course. But I want people to listen to it and hear it, and because I do feel like they'll take something from it, something from something on the album, and yeah, I was trying to make some work that was gonna make something that was good, but that would last. Like I just talked about the Great Adventures of Slick Rick and albums like that, like those things.
Mm,
I always think like that, like damn, like that's part of. I just wanted to make something that would be part of the collective conscious of hip hop, because when I think of certain artists like that, like there's certain things they said that we all know, like that became a way of. If I say
for
that buck
sure.
that bought the bottle could
Right,
have,
right. The buck that
y'all know
brought the
what's
body.
the following line, because it's that became part of
Mhm.
the collective conscious. After I heard that, I was like, damn, so I wanted to just add on to that, and I just want to continue to do that, and elevate this culture that I love, and protect it, and try to not protect it, but just to honor it the right way. And I remember, just I'm gonna end it like this. I remember, like, with the words that Big L said to me when we met, in whatever you do, just keep this hip hop shit true. That's all I ask of you. And I think that was from a song y'all might remember back in the days. If you do, you don't, whatever. But anyway, you know what I mean? Just, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
keep
Fire.
listening. The more and more do for self entertainment, man. Check the discography. Got a lot out there, from The World According to D, Excelsior, Undeniable, and The Process, album number 4, man. You'll find there's a lot of things there, a lot of jewels there, and there's a lot more music coming too. So, you know what I mean? And yeah, we going about to put the clean version of the album out real soon, because that was a mistake that I've made a lot in the past by not having clean versions of some of my songs. So now I'm making sure, because I don't curse a lot, but I might here and there drop shit, or you might hear N word or something, but I try not to overdo it. But I definitely putting that clean version out, because I do feel like the youngsters can learn from it as well. I tried to make sure that I did leave some, something there for them, because I'm like, I had KRS-One and I had Public Enemy, and I don't know what the kids got today. So they got Demorne Warren, if nothing
They
else,
got you,
even if
bro.
they don't
They
know
got you,
about them,
brother.
but they
You're
got me.
doing a
So
great
let them
job,
know
bro.
I'm here, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
They got you,
No
brother.
doubt.
We appreciate you, Demore Warren. The process out now. Make sure you purchase it, stream it, but purchase it.
Right.
New music on the way. We're gonna be checking back with you in the next few weeks, a few months, over the years, tapping in with us. So thank you for being on tonight, man. We appreciate you, and much
Bro,
success to you,
appreciate y'all
brother.
too, brother.
Salute.
All right, man. Peace, y'all. One.
Thank
No
you, my
doubt.
guy.
All right, peace.
Peace. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One.
That was
Yo,
fire,
yo,
man.
yo, 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 yo.
Right
So yeah, we
on, man.
shout out to Demorne Warren, the process, man. We appreciate that, man. That was refreshing. We like having artists on, man. We
So,
had Demorne Warren on, we had Blue on, we had Ab Soul on, we had Pete Rock, we had Big Gip.
man,
We had a lot of people
I
on, man. We had Lupe on. We like to have
we gonna
artists
get
on.
the
So
whole game, man. We just doing some things behind the scenes, man. It's just we just handling some business, but we gonna get the whole game. But and new artists as well, because to navigate this, I was just I gave you the link too, but Exhibit just played the album for me and the homies. You know what I mean? So that was fire. You know what I mean? But these are artists that come from a certain era, but we gonna get new artists on because
let's get it.
they have a different perspective with
Let's
with
get
new
we
friends.
yeah, we shout out to Demore Warren, man. We appreciate it. Can we get X on
Mhm.
next week? Can you try to get X on next week?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I could definitely ask him. I mean, he definitely got fire, and he was super excited to play the music. Like, he couldn't play the Dr. Dre song because he was like, "Man, you gonna steal this Dr. Dre song?" I'm like, "Man, no, we're not gonna steal it," but
Yeah, let's see if we
um,
get the big homie on next week. And we talk to
yeah,
him next week.
yeah,
That'll be good to hear about him. I saw him on ABC News not too long ago, but yeah, let's get him on next week. We'll try to get him on next week. And I know I'm working on getting Ninth Wonder on, but we like talking
I,
to artists like Demorne Warren, man, because Demorne Warren brings a fresh perspective. He's got that bars, he's got that lyricism, and it's New
mm,
York. You know what I'm saying? New York is still I always root for New York. I always root for New York
oh
artists,
yeah,
man, because New York is the Mecca, man. You know what I mean?
hey,
It is what
bro
it
is really
is.
rapping. Bro is really rapping for real, and I don't just be saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard him and one other person in the last couple of days. They really rapping. So I'm juiced, man. So
No
fire.
doubt. No doubt, no doubt. Any final words tonight, Leroy, before we get out of here? I think we had a good show. We're gonna get out of here and enjoy some of this
Yeah, no, no,
Saturday.
no. Good show, good show. I would just say, like I said, I hope that we can implement some more acting in the music. And if you're going through something right now, you know what I'm saying, put check out the Will Smith. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's the best rapping ever. Like I said, the man is a little rusty, hasn't been rapping, but you're not gonna feel me unless you going through something. Then you gonna feel me. Like if you going through something and you hear it, you gonna understand exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying. So I mean, just check it out if you going through some adversity and that at the best form, the highest level of rap, I think is the rap that's gonna get you through a issue, like to push you through an adversity. I think that's the highest level, like the Jedi Master level. So let's get there, man. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, chilling. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt. Well, yo, make sure you hit like and subscribe. This is the Weekend Rhyme. I'm RKY. That's Leroy Green. Get us to 100,000 followers. We're inching along. We're almost at 19,000 so far. Again, we get to 100,000. We can do some things and have artists like Demone Warren and others that we talk about on this platform at our festival. So we got to get to the 100,000 goal. Let us
Yes.
know who you want us to speak to next. Any artists out there, email us at info@accordingtohiphop.com. Yeah, life is a gift. Make sure you love one another. Be good to one another. It's always hip hop to the core. We appreciate you. You can be anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here. We're rocking with us. It's the Weekend Rhyme. Peace.
Appreciate it. Peace.
Yeah, man. Hit the like button, man. What the hell's going? Hit the like button.